face you.
Welcome to the Bushido Gang. What's up, guys? It's Attack on Samurai, and welcome to my first DPP match, or my first DPP tournament match. So this is during the Smogon Classic. Again, basically, the Smogon Classic is where you can is where you play in all the old generations from Gen 1 through Gen 5. So this was my first round. For Gen 4 for DPP. So my DPP knowledge, I'm actually just starting to get into DPP. DPP is pretty fun, I'd say. There's definitely a lot going on it, and I really wanted to try and learn it. So I ended up watching a couple games from BKC, and I did watch a couple of SBL replays. So I have some knowledge right now, but I'm not like great. I'll say that I'm not great. But for my first opponent, I actually got what's it called? Got partnered with one of the best players in this meta, Rokhan. I don't know if he's the best, but he's definitely up there. But yeah, it was a pretty tough game, especially this first one. So before we get started, I know I just talked for so long, but before we get started though, make sure you guys have a like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, join my Discord Bushido Gang, and subscribe for some more content on the channel. Also follow me on my Poke Amino, and check out my Smogon profile. All those links will be down in the description. So from every gen, for me from Gen 1 and 4, or through Gen 1 and 4, there was no team preview. So this is why it looks like this. So here we go. I'm just gonna dive into it. So turn 1, I leave. Oh my, that went way too fast. Hold up. That went way too fast. Okay, turn 1, I lead with Machin as he led with Metagross. I switch it out and go into Gliscor to check whatever the Metagross would go for. Switches into Scizor. I U-turn out as I bring in Dragonite, showing that I can pressure this thing. Switches out, goes into Metagross to scout for the fire move as I go for the fire punch on the switch in. So he goes for me for bullet punch to get a little bit of chip on me, but this isn't multi-scaled, so I mean, I don't know why he did it, but whatever, he did it anyway. So now this man goes for HP Ice with the Infernape on my Gliscor switch, and I'm just like, yo, this dude is real. So I was just like, okay, I lost my Gliscor, which kind of sucked honestly, but because then I could have got a Brox, and Brox would have been really good in this game. I don't know if I got a Brox. Did I already get a Brox? No, I didn't get a Brox. So I was fearing the Metagross being faster than me or something. But yeah, I bring in Tentacruel as he brings in Lottie. So I go for a Surf, get a little bit of chip on that Lottie. I went Surf just in case he wanted to go into Scizor as well. But yeah, I protect right here as he goes for Draco on the Lottie. I'm just like, yo, this man went for the Draco. So he goes Draco again. Draco does 47%. So I'm a very fat teat, so I could take the Draco pretty easily. I pursued the Lottie as Lottie's going to drop right here. So Lottie dropping is very good for me. He brings in Scizor. And I switch because I'm just like, I'm not trying to take a U-turn. I'm not trying to take a BP. But he predicts that and just switches out, or goes for the SD and sets it with Scizor. I go for the Surf. Surf does nothing to that Scizor. And I'm just like, okay, this is pretty much game because I can't do anything to the Scizor. Like, even if I went into Dragonite right away, it still would have done way too much. Like, this Scizor right here just sweeps me. It just sweeps me right off the bat. Waterfall did a good chunk to this Scizor though, but I think if I set up earlier with it, or if I brought in Gyarados earlier, maybe this could have been avoided. But I don't know how Scizor works in this meta. I just know it's very I just know how it always is. Especially like Mega Scizor back in Gen 6 and Gen 7. I know this mon just likes to set up pretty easily, and you know it's very bulky and just doesn't die. So to residual damage, or not residual damage, but like neutral attacks. So yeah, bad play on my part, letting this thing set up for free and just sweep me. So yeah, this is pretty much an L for the first match. But luckily Smogon Classic, luckily this cup is it's 3 matches. so I do have another shot at playing against Rokhan. So the next game is going to be a lot better. Definitely going to be a lot better. So I'll be right back with game 2. Alright, so I'm back, and I just played the worst black and white game of my life, but I'm going to push through, and I'm going to record this second game. So, this was my second match against Rokhan. I have a different team this time, and I believe he had a different team as well. So, like I said, this game is a lot better than the first one that we had. So, I'm just going to play it out, and, you know, let y'all witness it. So, turn 1. He leads with Zapdos as I lead with my Starmie. So I switch out, going to Blissey because I'm not trying to get T-bolted by that. Yeah, exactly. So what I do here is I actually go for the T-Wave, I think. Or I went for Rocks. I think I went for Rocks. Yeah, I went for Rocks on the switching into his Pert. So he goes for Rocks on his Pert as I go into Skarmory. Actually, no, I went for Quake, never mind. But he does go for Rocks here. As I get up a layer of, oh, never mind. I went for a Whirlwind. I should have got the Spike there. But I think I get up the turn afterwards, after I switch out. He expects him to go back into Blissey. Actually, no, I went Nidoqueen. Never mind, I went Nidoqueen to fake him out. But right here, I go for the T-Spike as he switches in the Pert. So now my goal is to try and like roar him out and try and poison the Pert and also just get some chip on everything. So Waterfall doesn't do that much to my Starmie. I get to spin right here, which is great. But Quake does a lot. So I should try to recover here because I was thinking maybe it's a low roll or something. Or maybe like 59 was the highest roll they could have gotten. But unfortunately my Starmie dies. So losing Starmie isn't like the worst thing in the world, but it definitely did suck. At least I get a Spike up though, which is great. And I'm roaring in the and I'm whirlwinding in the Zapdos, which is also good as well for me. So now I'm gonna go into Nidoqueen as my opponent is gonna go for the Roost. So right here, I actually went for the Earthquake, expecting him to go for Roost again, or expecting him to switch. But he actually went for the Heat Wave instead, and he burned me. So, you know, that's just perfect. But he does burn me right there. So he goes for it again, does a lot to my Nidoqueen. I go for the Roar, and I'm actually going to bring in the T-Tar, which is really, really good, and I also poison it as well. So now that T-Tar's poisoned and also chipped, it's going to be a lot easier for me to wear him down with the rest of my team. So he crunches me, knocks out my Nidoqueen, that's okay. Losing my electric immunity does kind of suck because, you know, Zapdos could just Thunderbolt through me now, but it's alright. He still injures me and crits me, but that's okay. I get to Whirlwind him out, bring in the Zapdos again, which is really what I didn't want. The first time I Whirlwinded the Zapdos, and I was just like, nah, I don't want this. So that's why I had to switch. But this time, just like, I'm just going to stay in here and just go for the Spike as he goes for the Roost right here. So now I go into Blissey, and I'm just going to save Skarmory for later and just sack it. So he goes for the Heat Wave again. Doesn't burn me this time. But I do believe I went for the Seismic Toss as he brings in Rotom. So yeah, he does bring in Rotom, predicting the Seismic Toss. So now at this point, I'm just like, all right, Skarmory, you did everything you could. You got up all the hazards you need. Now I can just stack you here. So he goes for the Trick, as I'm just like, as I was kind of expecting it, since he didn't show lefties anyway. So he's gonna knock out my Skarmory. So I'm just like, all right, cool, you could take it. And now I actually bring in Clef, I think. Yeah, I bring in my Clefable. So I go for my Clefable, and I actually go for the Calm Mind, I believe. Because in this position, Clef was just gonna run through him, pretty much. Like, it was very, very strong here. So Stunnis is a lot, but it's not enough, and I'm going to knock out his T-Tar. T-Tar's going to drop to Poison. So Latios comes in here. He switches out, predicting me to go back into Blissey, so that was a good play on his part. So I do go back into Blissey anyway. But luckily, my Blissey is pretty defensive, so I can take some hits on the physical side. So there's Iron Hit trying to get a flinch. Unfortunately, my opponent doesn't get it, and I do get a T-Wave the Jirachi. So T-Waving that Jirachi was probably the most pivotal point in this game. Because if he had broken through, then it would have probably been a wrap, honestly. Because I wasn't going to be able to beat this Jirachi without it getting paralyzed. So I go for the Soft Boiled, trying to at least, like, again, get my Blissey to as healthy as I can against the Latios. Because at this point, I wasn't certain if his Latios was going to be like Choice Scarf or something, or going to beat Specs. So I'm going to keep it as healthy as possible against it. So yeah, now at this point, I think after I get off this next Soft Boiled, I'm going to go for the Seismic Toss and just start wearing him down at this point. So I do believe I go for that right now. As I do go for the Seismic Toss and start to wear him down. Goes for Iron Hit again. He's just not getting paralyzed this whole way through, which is funny to me. But I'm going to keep Soft Boiling up as he goes for the Pert now. So Pert's now poisoned, which is really what I wanted this whole time. So now that Pert's poisoned, again, like I said, it's going to be easier for me to sweep him now. Because I do have one Mon in the back that's going to be very, very pivotal. So he goes for the Waterfall. Waterfall does like 30, but my Clef is very defensive, so I'm able to take Waterfall decently well. and he's gonna go for the focus punch, and I'm just like, yo, like when he went for that play, I was like, oh, this man is dope. Like that was the coolest play I've seen so far of me playing DPP for like a week. So anyways, Zapdos comes in, I just ice punch the switch in. So yeah, goodbye Zapdos, and now Weavile's just about to go crazy. So he brings in the Rotom, and I kid you not, when he brought in Rotom, I was so scared because I was just like, there's no way I'm gonna kill this thing, because I'm thinking again post Gen 4 where this mon where all the Rotom forms don't have the type that goes with their signature move. So again, Rotom would be electric and water, but in Gen 4 it's actually electric and ghost. So it's a spin blocker, but it also means it's not weak to ice, which means I can ice punch this thing and kill it. So I killed the Rotom, which is fantastic. And now that Rotom's out the way, it's looking like Weavile and Blissey are going to be my main ways to deal with the Jirachi and the rest of his team. So Ironhead's going to come through, but it's not going to flinch. And I mean, he can't even flinch anyway since he's slower than me. So I can just soft load up, again, keep Blissey as healthy as possible. I finally get the para, and now I can start tossing him. Now I can start to toss him down. So gonna keep going for it. Goes Thunder trying to get the para on me, but unfortunately my opponent does not get it and trying to go for the para flinch strat, but it didn't work. Go for his Seismic Toss again, and Jirachi gets paralyzed. So Jirachi gets paralyzed, which really sucks for him, but I am able to knock out his Jirachi, which is fantastic, and now Weavile can just go crazy. So so I'm okay with Blissey dropping here to whatever he goes for. So he goes for Waterfall. Waterfall does a really good chunk to me since he's in torrent range now. And now he can kill me with Waterfall on the next one. So again, I was fine with it because now Weavile can just run through him. So he kills me with Waterfall since he's now in torrent range, and now he can just die to poison. And now I can bring in my Weavile. Now, I kid you not, right here, I was scared. I was so scared because for some reason I thought he was running double Choice Scarf. I don't know why, but I was really thinking he was double Choice Scarf on this Latios, or if he was double Choice Scarf on his team, because like, I don't know, like, even though Latios was his last mon, I was very, very scared. I was really debating on going for Ice Shard, because Ice Shard from Banded Weavile had a chance. I don't think it had a chance. It might have had a chance after Sand, but still, he would have Draco'd me and I would have died, or Thunderbolted. Whatever he would have done, he would have killed me. But I was really, really hoping he wasn't Choice Scarf. And luckily, I'm faster than him, which means he's not Choice Scarf, which means I get to Ice Punch him and knock him out, and that's going to be the game for Game 2. So yeah, very, very intense game right here. This Game 2 was a lot better than the first one. So much better than the first one. Like, I dominated. I dominated Rokhan. So that was really, really a really good game right there. So now I'm going to move on to the last game. The last game, I'll just say right now, it's kind of a mixture between both these games. That's all I'm going to say. Because I had a really cool team idea that I wanted to try out. So I was just trying to test it out. And also at the time, I only had this team and the other team. The team I'm going to be using was a team I actually didn't test. Actually, both the teams I had, I didn't. Well, okay, the first team I actually did test before. But the second team, I didn't test. Or this team right here, the team I just used, I actually didn't test this. So this was my first game with it. But for it to do that well for the first game with me using it, I was very surprised by it. But this next game is a team I actually didn't test beforehand. So it was just more like me trying to get it to work. That's really what I was trying to do with this next game. So I'll let y'all watch the next game, or I'll dive into the next game. So give me a second. Alright, so this is it. This is the third game of my series between me and Rokhan for DPP for the DPP OU Cup for round 1. So yeah. Again, like I said in the last part, my team was not tested at all, and it was just a concept I was trying to work around with it. So you're gonna see me make some really odd plays that didn't really make too much sense. But also, I did get hacked out quite a bit in this game too. Well, I mean, not like too much, but there were definitely some plays that mattered a lot for me. That mattered a lot for me, and that if I got them off, I would have been in a much better position than where I was at. So that's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna dive into this game. So turn 1, he leads with Pert as I lead with Bronzong. So he's gonna get up rocks as I get up my own rocks as well. And now he brings in the Skarmory, and on the switch in, I go for the Hypnosis and I put the Skarmory to sleep. So now what I do right here, he goes Celebi. I go into Zapdos as he I didn't expect the Celebi, no lie. Didn't really think he would do that. And also he's faster than my Zapdos, which is really bad. I can T-Wave it, but he's gonna switch out anyway because he's Natural Cure. So I go for the Heat Wave and miss. The Heat Wave miss kind of mattered. Again, getting damage on that Celebi was something I really wanted to prioritize, but not getting it kind of sucked right there. He's going to show lefties on the Pert. I go for the Heat Wave on Pert, just get a little bit of chip on it, maybe get a little burn or something. Goes for Beam. Beam does a decent chunk to me, so I have to Roost right here. And he knows I'm going to Roost, so I think he goes for the Earthquake on the Roost anyway. So good play on Rokhan's part. Again, it was pretty risky though, because I kind of needed to keep my Zapdos alive, but he goes for the Beam on the switch, and I'm just like, yo, okay, calm down, buddy, calm down. So I go on the Bronzong now, expecting to go for Earthquake or Beam, but he goes for Protect this time. He brings in the Skarmory as I go for the Light Screen. Now, the Light Screen play was very odd. I'm not going to lie. It was a very weird play for me to make. I think it was very unnecessary. I didn't need to make that play because, I mean, so far he's only shown a physical attacker, and he's also shown Celebi, but but at the time I didn't know what the Celebi was going to do. So I think going Light Screen was probably the worst play for me. Honestly, Light Screen might not have been the move for me anyway. I probably could have went something else instead of Light Screen. But yeah, basically basically this Bronzong is meant to be a lead Bronzong with rocks, and you know, trying to wear down my opponent, and also put things to sleep so I can set up with something else in the back. That was basically the main goal of this Mon. But again, things didn't really go the way I wanted it to, so I pretty much am trying to figure out how do I boom on Bronzong, and you know, keep it around for a little bit longer. So he goes into Pert now as I go for the Overheat, expecting the Pert to come in anyway. So what I'm trying to do with this, or what I'm trying to do, is put this thing in range, or at least put it in a position where I can set up freely. That's what I'm trying to do with this Mon. I bring in my Gengar as I go for the Shadow Ball. So Shadow Ball doesn't do anything because he protected. He goes into Clef, revealing it. So Shadow Ball, he takes the Shadow Ball because he's normal type. Go for Focus Blast and I miss. So the first miss definitely sucked. I go Focus Blast and I actually landed this time. But it doesn't kill the Clef because that Clef is very, either that was a roll or that Clef is very Spadef. But it might have been a roll. I do Focus Blast on the Skarmory switching though, so that's really good for me. Now, okay, right here, as you see, I go for Explosion. So yes, I'm running a team that's very explosion oriented, basically. So I go Explosion here because, to be honest, I didn't want to keep the Skarmory. I mean, okay, it probably would have been better if I kept Gengar as a sack, but I genuinely did know what I was trying to do here. Like, I really did know what I was trying to do. Like, I was debating on, should I just explode? Should I go for my Shadow Ball? But again, in Gen 4 and Gen 5, I mean, everything before Gen 6, Shadow Ball is Ghost types are resisted to, or Steels are resisted to Ghosts. So, and it's also with Dark as well. So Shadow Ball wasn't going to do enough. I mean, it probably still would have killed. Maybe it would have killed, but it probably would have been really close. So I would either have to explode or I'd have to land a Focus Blast, and I was not trying to do either of them, so I just go Explosion instead and just knock out the Skarmory. So granted, it would have been better for me to explode with this instead because Gengar was actually useful, but I legit couldn't think of what to do. He goes for T-Wave as I bring in my Heatran. So I don't know why he did that, or I mean, I think I know why he went for the T-Wave. He just wanted to go for it just to, again, like, get a pair on something. But yeah, going Heatran right away was probably the worst play possible because now I'm going to be slower than Pert. And two, well, actually, I'm not slower than Pert because I'm actually, well, no, I think I do get slower than Pert. Because in this gen, Para is, like, cut in half, I think. No, it's not cut in half. It's, like, cut by, like, 75% or something like that. But basically, the T-Wave hinders me a lot, and I'm going to have to play Heatran a little bit more, I have to try and preserve Heatran a little bit better, basically. I don't think that's the right word, though, but, basically, Heatran isn't going to be as useful as I wanted it to be. and I'm just gonna try and boom with it at this point. But again, T-waving my Bronzong. I think I should have stayed in and just let him do it, and I should have went for the light screen and maybe boomed on it. If I boomed on Celebi, then definitely a lot of things would have been open for me. But again, I didn't think about it. I should have done it. I really should have. But I was just like, okay, he's probably gonna switch out or something. But he just went for it anyway. So he's gonna gain some initiative and go for the U-turn and bring in Pert. As I think I get paralyzed here. Yeah, I get paralyzed on the first one. I was actually trying to go for the overheat on this play. But yeah, again, that really sucked for me. He goes for Quake. Quake doesn't do anything because I'm levitating on you. And now I believe I went for the Hypnosis again. Again, I really didn't like that play. But again, it was just something I was trying to do. Trying to put this to sleep would have been good, but again, he would have just broken out anyway and just switched. So what I should have done was actually go for the Hypnosis again, expecting to go out into something else. But anyways, I bring in my Miracle and try and set up on this, which is a pretty bad play, honestly. I should have tried to set up on this LB because 1, I didn't know if he had a grass move, and 2, I was just not sure what I was trying to do here. Like, I legit wasn't sure what I was trying to do. So he brings in Pert again. I go for the overheat, and I actually break through from, and I actually break out a pair, which is really good for me. So now Pert would be in range of Waterfall from my Azumarill. So that's what I was trying to get him to do, or trying to put him in the position. So now he goes for Protect on my Explosion. Now, exploding right there was probably the worst play of this whole game. I'm not even gonna lie. It's worse than my Heatran getting paralyzed, if anything, because if I just waited, just to kind of like see what else he'd do instead of just explode on this, instead of just exploding on Pert, then maybe something else could have gone my way. But in hindsight, I think the better play would have been for me to go for the light screen instead, or go for the Hypnosis instead. I think Hypnosis would have been the smarter play, but I guess I was still in the mindset that, oh, Celebi's still asleep or something. I think that might have been what I was thinking this whole time, while this game was going on. I probably could have just, that was probably what I was thinking at the time, but Hypnosis was 110% the right play to make, because if I went for Hypnosis, then one, this would have got put to sleep, or 2, he would have switched into Celebi and then still get put to sleep anyway by something else coming in, having to get put to sleep. So I don't know if that made sense, but basically I would have forced him to put something to sleep if I just stayed in and just went for the Hypnosis. But going for Explosion was literally the worst play of this game on my part. So yeah, I just got to learn from it. That's all I got to do. I just got to learn from it. So I bring in my Azumarill for no reason. He brings in the Celebi as I go for the Waterfall. And Waterfall does nothing to the Celebi because that Celebi is fat as hell. It did 19, which is decent, I guess, but it's not enough, honestly. So he goes Psychic, revealing that he really couldn't touch my Bronzong or my Heatran at all. So he goes U-turn now. And this time, I think I went for the Explosion and I actually get it off. Yeah, I was trying to go for Explosion, but I didn't get it off. But it was probably Overheat, actually. So now I bring in my Zapdos. He goes for the Earthquake, and I'm just like, alright, I need to keep this mon around for as long as possible. So I go for the Roosters. He goes for the Earthquake again, I think. Yeah, he goes for the Earthquake. He's pretty determined. Like, this dude is very determined to get my Zapdos out the way. I go for the Heat Wave as he brings in the Clef. So Clef is going to eat the Heat Wave pretty easily. I go for the T-Wave now because I'm just like, I'm not trying to let you set up or anything. So he goes for the Soft Bolt again. I'm just going to Roost up and again try and get my Zapdos to as healthy as possible against the rest of his team, especially against that Celebi too, because I'm trying to like weaken that Celebi, which is something I really failed at during this game. But I bring in my Azumarill and I reveal the Citrus, so that pretty much tells him that, oh, this man was running Billy Drum. So yeah, that's what I was trying to do, but I couldn't get it off. Like, what I realized about Azumarill is that Belly Drum isn't the most optimal set because 1, you can't pair it with Aqua Jet, and 2, you really have to get like more support on it. So I think maybe if I had a more accurate mon like its Spore, maybe like Breloom, it would have worked. It might have worked, maybe, but again, it was really, really hard for me to try and set up with the Azumarill. It was very hard, so I just couldn't figure out what to do. It was just a tough game for me, especially with this Azumarill. I just couldn't figure out what to do. So I go Superpower, it does nothing, and he's pretty much just gonna recover off that or go for Psychic. So I go into my Heatran again. He goes for the recover, like I mentioned. So now he goes for the U-turn, and I'm just like, please let me explode on this pert so that way I have some chance. I explode on pert and I actually get the crit too. The crit didn't matter because explosion is like base 500 in this game. Actually, no, I think it's 400. It dropped in Gen 4. Before it was 500, but I think it was 400. Anyways, I go for the crunch, and he goes for the U-turn and crits me. So the crit probably did matter. Not gonna lie, probably definitely mattered. I am choice scarf T-tar, but it doesn't matter because Dougie's gonna kill me. And yeah, it didn't look too good for your boy. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. I go on. He brings in the clef. I go for a heat wave and miss again. So it's looking pretty nice for me. Looking pretty nice, just missing over here. So I bring in the zoom roll, and I'm just like, all right, zoom roll, you gotta do it for me. He goes for the calm mind on the switch in, and I was just like, okay, cool. I'm just gonna kill something now. So he brings in Dougie to sack, which I was just like, all right, cool. So I killed the Dougie, which is cool. So Dougie drops. And now Celebi comes in and just, kind of messes me up because it outspeeds both my Zapdos and outspeeds this. Goes for the recovery because he wants to make sure that he doesn't die to Waterfall. Because I think at the range he was at, I think it might have died if he just, I don't know, it's like it didn't kill or something. But it was going to kill. He definitely had enough EVs to probably kill me with Psychic. And Psychic is going to, knock me out after Sand. Or with Sand damage. And now my Azumarill's going to be dead to Psychic, and that's going to be the game. So yeah, a very, very sloppy game compared to the second game. The second game was probably the best DPP game I've played so far, like while I've been playing Gen 4. Like legit, that was probably the best game I've had out of the week I've been playing Gen 4. So actually it's been like, it's been a week. It's been a week since I started just playing Gen 4. But yeah, this was a tough one. This was a very tough one. I didn't expect to get partnered with an opponent like this. This guy was really good. But yeah, I don't know if I'll bring that Azumarill team back. I mean, I really did want to use Azumarill. I really did, because I was looking at the team. I was actually looking at the meta. Like, I was looking at the meta, and I was just like, man, Azumarill looks so good. It looks so strong against the whole meta, because Superpower is really good against the steals. Waterfall hits a lot of the ground types in the tier 2, and also the steals as well. He gets Ice Punch so it can hit Lottie and also hit Flygon. Like, I really wanted to use Azumarill so bad. And when I found out that you can't run Aqua Jet with it in Gen 4, I was just like, yo, why? Why did they do this? Why? But yeah, I guess if they did it then in Gen 4, then it would have been broken. Azumarill actually would have been broken if it had Belly Drum and Aqua Jet in Gen 4. And no cap, but I was looking through the analysis on this mon, and it seemed like you could only run Bandit on it. So I was really on a toss-up when I was building this team, if I wanted to make it like Choice Band or if I wanted to make it Belladrum. But Belladrum was the way to go, and it didn't work out in this game. It did not work out because I had no idea what to do. Legit, I had no idea what I was trying to do with this team. But I don't know. Maybe I'll bring it back if I do some DPP lives. But yeah, this was my first DPP tournament game. So learning lesson from it. Just gotta play a little bit more aggressively. But again, the paras actually suck though. If he didn't paralyze me, or if he didn't get those paras, and I knocked out Pert, then it would have been so much better for me. It really would have been so much better. Because again, Pert and Celebi were the biggest threats to my team. If I boomed on Pert and boomed on Celebi, it was a wrap. It was a wrap, honestly. It was a wrap. I could have just won with I could have won with Heatran, and I still probably could have won with Azumarill if I got the sleep right, or if I got the sleep on him on, and then I set up. Like, that was really the goal I was trying to get, but I just couldn't get it, man. I just couldn't get it. It was those small things that I just missed out on. But yeah, that's gonna be it for the Showdown Live. I mean, did I say Showdown Live for this? For my first DPP game of Smogon Tour. So didn't win. But I have next time, and there's other like tournaments I can get into for in the Ruins of Alph, so I'll try and get into some more of those. But hopefully you guys did enjoy my match. If you guys did, make sure you guys have a like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, join my Discord Bushido gang, and subscribe for some more content on the channel. Also follow me on my Pokemino and check out my Smogon profile. All those links will be down in the descriptions. Also, one more thing. I know I talk way too much about this game, or throughout this whole thing, but I was actually looking back at the game I had at the last game, and I realized that Clefable could have dealt with Latios. Pretty well if I just kept recovering. If he Draco'd, I would have been fine. And the Jirachi probably wouldn't have done anything to me anyway, since I have Flamethrower on it too. So and it was paralyzed as well. Or actually, it wasn't paralyzed at that time. But yeah, I definitely could have just won with Clef, but I wanted to win with Weavile. Or I guess Weavile was gonna be the end game anyway. If he tried to like flinch through me all the way through with Jirachi. But yeah, definitely a really good series, despite me playing horribly in the first 2 games. But I'm done talking. I'll see y'all. Peace out.